Hello, this is Adrian with Clip Software. Before we get started with the video, I do want to provide a quick disclosure. The customer information on screen, including phone numbers, email addresses, and any other form of information is not legitimate and has only been created for demonstration purposes. Enjoy the video!
Welcome to our class today. We're going to be talking about end-of-year functions. I am recording the class. Yay, I remembered to start the button. Push the button to record. So, this should be up on YouTube within the next 24 to 72 hours. I will get this over to Adrian as soon as the class is done for him to compile or work his magic, and then it'll be up on YouTube under end-of-year functions. The class from Monday is also already up at our YouTube, so if you want to see that, or you can go to youtube.com and search for Clip ITC, and you'll see all our videos. You'll have to excuse the noisy background. The neighbor is adding on to his house, and unfortunately, it's kind of noisy. But I hope that won't interfere with the quality of the class. Okay, today is end-of-year functions. At the end of each calendar year, the end of each season, there are some global functions you can do to get set up for the next season. So let's take a look at those. They are found under Customize End-of-Year Functions in the program. And there's a set group of them. For those of you who have used other versions of Clip, our Office desktop-based versions, you may already be familiar with these. They're very similar, but we'll go through them as if they were all new to you. Okay, so there are 6 functions here, and we'll just go down the list in them. Now, again, the purpose of this is to transition into the new year. For those of you who do snow removal, some of these you may have to hold off and do those snow-related jobs come spring. Okay, so we're going to start with reset variable schedule for 1 year later. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to also look and see within the program what that means. So for variable schedule, we're going to look at Bart Simpson and his lawn maintenance service. The variable schedule is for folks who work basically year-round, but they don't necessarily keep the same schedule year-round. Some of the people in the Southeast may go year-round. Sorry about that. They go year-round, but they change their schedule, say from weekly to bi-weekly at one point. So we're in Bart Simpson lawn maintenance, and it is checked for variable schedule. Right now, he is set to 11 days between jobs or bi-weekly. And then the variable schedule here shows the transition point. So this goes back to 2021. These changes have already passed. And so what we're at now is we're after 9/28 where it says 11, and the next variable schedule is the change will be at the end of March to weekly, then end of next September to bi-weekly. What this does here, where you check this, and if I came here and choose the lawn maintenance, these are in alphabetical order, so I come down here. If I hit process, what it would do is it would come into this screen and roll these ahead by 1 year. And that means that I don't have to go into each job, each customer individually and reset these once I get to the end, in this case of 2023. It will roll them ahead automatically, and I can just let it keep going for the next year. Again, this is probably most relevant to folks who are working along the southern, warmer regions of the United States. So if you use variable schedule, then this will give you the ability to advance those job changes for the schedule by 1 year. Okay, By the way, there's a chat function with this in Zoom, and if you come up with a question while I'm looking at these, please feel free to use the chat. As I mentioned, we may have a relatively short class because this isn't a lot of material, and we may have a time for Q&A then at the end. Okay, so that's the first one, reset variable schedule 1 year later. The next one is reset start-stop schedule for 1 year. Now, the start-stop schedule, we'll see that illustrated in Ben Warfield. So come to find customers, Ben Warfield. Some companies use the start-stop schedule to automatically put jobs on hold as of a certain date. So here, this job is on hold now, and the reason it's on hold is we have a start-stop schedule here, and the job after the 16th, the next time it's done, it goes on hold automatically. So in a similar way to the reset variable schedule, what this allows you to do is to come in to reset start-stop schedule. Again, choose the service or services where that is relevant. So we're going to come here and hit process for this one. And now if we come back to here, I haven't refreshed yet, but when we refresh, we should see that change to 2023. So let me come up here and refresh. And now it's 2023. A note, notice it didn't take this off hold. That means that you would also have to go in and reactivate these jobs, but it's a couple less clicks. Because, for instance, the main reason I've heard people use the start-stop schedule is that at the end of the year, they send out contract renewals and they want all these jobs on hold, and we'll reactivate them when the contract gets returned. And by the way, speaking of contracts, we're having a class on Friday on how to do contract renewals. All right, so that means that this job is now reset so that when Mr. Warfield sends us his renewal letter, we can just come in here, hit active, give it the right next visit date, and be ready to go for 2023. Okay, so that is the reset start-stop schedule for 1 year. Okay, next one is reset programs and rounds. So we're going to go and look at, we'll go back to Mr. Simpson for this. So we're going to jobs here. If those of you who use programs and rounds, so here's our Silver Turf plan. As you do applications, they flip from being active to done this year. So when this has been done, it changes this setting under status. The purpose of the reset programs and rounds is to reset those to active. Let me go back and see what was that program. Silver Turf. Got to make sure I've got the right name here to reset it. And they don't have it here. Okay. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to come to Patterns. And the Silver Turf plan is under Pattern Programs. And that's... I think it's Turf 5. I think someone changed that. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and choose Turf 5, or you can choose all. So I may as well just do that. So I'm going to choose all my programs and rounds and reset them. So I hit process here. And now we go back to this program go into early spring. And it is now active. So the ones that were done this year now say active. So that's the function of the reset programs and rounds for that. Not everyone uses programs and rounds, so not everyone would need to use this particular end of year function. Okay, next one is reset job done count. In the older programs, this was reset done to date. So the done to date, and we can go back to here for lawn maintenance. Every time a job is done, it changes this countdown here. So, or this done this season, sorry. So this job has been done 8 times this year. Most of you, if you do mowing, this will probably be a much higher number. So to reset these so you're ready at the beginning of next year to start fresh, you would use this reset job done count. Now, I'm going to take a little side trip. Some of you may have noticed after you converted from an older version of Clip to this one, that even though there's a charge per job value here, sometimes the charge was not showing up when you were recording work or billing and you had to manually go in and fix it. The reason for that is based on this more charge options. Clip allows a user to set a maximum for, okay, let me back up. If you have installment jobs, installment customers who pay you a set monthly amount, that installment is determined based on the number of visits you're going to do for various services, and those are all added up, and then you divide that by 8, 9, 10, 12 monthly payments. So for mowing, for instance, let's say in your contract, you're going to mow 32 times. Well, when this number here hits 33, it will charge what's in this field. So I can put this at 44.50. Now, what we found was that because of a setting in the older versions of Clip, this often would come across like this. So 0 and 0. What this means is that this done to date, when it exceeds 0, is going to charge this amount and not this amount, because the program is saying, oh, we're going to charge this amount when we exceed a certain max number. Well, the max number is 0. We're over 0, therefore we're going to charge this. So one way to control this, or one benefit of this, is by resetting the done to date. And in some cases, there were values in here like 32, but the done to date was at 164. Someone hadn't reset this for 5 years. So this is a fairly important, potentially important function for you to set your billing correct. Now, there's more to that story. So but that's kind of to some of you have probably experienced that need to fix that more charge options. Okay, so again, come here, reset done job done count, come here and choose lawn maintenance, and then hit process. Now I come down here and we refresh this, and I can refresh it by clicking into another job and then back to lawn maintenance. And here it is reset to 0. So that's reset the job done. Okay, this next one is like a person's appendix. It is actually useless because the only done this year and skip this year are under the programs and rounds. And I was just talking to the head of development yesterday about this, and we're really not sure why this is here, because here you will just see jobs. You're not going to see your programs here to make that change. So these are just your jobs. And when we look at a job, so we'll come back here, in the lawn maintenance, there is an option done this year, but this actually is not live. This doesn't automatically turn over from active to done this year. It could be possible that you, as part of your working in the program, have noticed this and you've manually set these. If that's the case, then coming here and doing reset, done this year, skip this year, will put those back to active. But again, the program itself doesn't automatically change jobs to done this year, skip this year. Jobs really within the program are on hold or active. So just a little weirdness in the program. So I would say you don't have to worry about this. If you wanted to run it, I don't know if it would do any harm, but I would just say you can ignore this reset done this year and skip this year, because this focuses on jobs. Reset programs and rounds focuses on your programs and rounds that you've set up. All right, the last end of year function is set prepaid services to charge per job. So we're going to go down to, well, this is for situations where, and we'll go back to Mr. Simpson. Some folks allow their customers, their application customers primarily, to prepay for the year. And so when they set up the program for those customers, they would change the bill type to prepay here. And then when so the customer is paid for those, you've set them up, and we'll just confirm in the bill type. Okay, so now they say prepay. You get to the end of the year and the prepay is used up. I mean, the season's over, what they paid for has been done. And if you leave it at prepay, then you've got the potential of these being set up incorrectly for the next season, because prepay again is something you do when you actually get paid for the job. So as you look ahead to 2023 and you send out prepay letters, again, something we can cover on Friday, you need to have these reset to charge per job. And then when you get the payment back, you can then see change it to prepay once you've got paid. So the way to, at the end of the season, to change these, again, you come here, set prepaid services to charge per job, and here, let me see. So here are the different apps here: spring app, summer app. Let me just see if I've got another one I can pick up easily here. Winter app. So these have to be done by the job description. Let me just see if I've got just the fall app here. Okay, so then we hit process. And we come back here and we go to the spring app. Oh, well, here's summer app. Let me just. So see, it's changed. Oops, that's the wrong job. So now I come down here, summer. Okay, let me make a note of that because this should be changed. Okay. That's what I like about these classes. Sometimes it shows me things in the program that haven't been tested as thoroughly. Okay. All right. So hang on a second. I got a couple questions. Can you run a report based off of done this year for one-time jobs? The way I would do that would be I would look at the last visit date and set the last visit date in a custom report to greater than, December 31st, 2021 to get everything for this year. But yeah, just so ZLC, Zach, you should be able to run that report. Do you use reset job done count to reset all my jobs done this year to active? Bonnie, no. The reset done does not affect whether a job is active or on hold. So that has to be done separately. Is there a way to put all customers on hold at the end of this year? All customers, yes. So let me just chase that for a second. So if we come over here to patterns, update all customers, you can do the status here is active, and you can put all customers on hold by clicking there and then hitting update. That would put all the customers on hold. Okay, so we finished on kind of a fizzle here because this is not looking at the programs and rounds. It's just looking at jobs. So how do I change all the jobs done this year to active for next year? Okay. If you've got jobs that you want to make active, all right, Bonnie, can we do this separately, because there's some questions we need to explore for that. So if you can just make a note to shoot me an email, we'll do that. But let me tell you about some other end of year things you can do. Because under patterns, you can do what are called global replacements. And so this means, for instance, let's say you want to put all of your spring cleanups to next year. In the pattern job for spring cleanup, you can hit edit here, come into the schedule section. You can give it a new date. So let's say I'm going to roll this back to the 15th of March. So if I save this, then I can check the box here that corresponds to the field I want to change or update, and then come down here and click update all jobs. And if I click this, then all of the spring cleanups are going to be scheduled now for March 15th of next year. So that can be another kind of end of year function where you reset the next visit date. Now, some folks, because if you do mowing, probably your mowing services are all kind of stuck in October, November, maybe in December. Now, one way people manage that is they come in to the pattern job for lawn maintenance or mowing, go to schedule, and then they give it a date next year. So they come in, they say, okay, we're going to start mowing about the second week of March. So I'm going to, save this, check here, and hit update all jobs like you did for spring cleanup. The weakness of this approach is that it basically doesn't respect whatever day of the week you've got set up for each customer. It's going to put all of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday jobs onto Monday, March 13th, and you need to then sort them out. Some companies, from year to year, they try to keep the same day of the week for their customers. Others may, throw everything up in the air and reorganize it from scratch each season. If you want to maintain the day of the week, there's a different way to manage this. So we're going to come in here and go to daily and get work. So here is get work. We're getting it for today. And notice my get work for mowing, lawn maintenance are these dates in November. So I'll sort this chronologically and see. So I've got some on the 16th, some on the 15th, 14th, and so on. So one thing you can do is when you see this, you can come to adjust schedule. And then adjust schedule, you go to that particular day. show jobs. So these are all Monday jobs because Monday is the 14th. And then I come here, I check these off. And now I come up here. Give it next year's date and hit move jobs. Now, all the jobs from Monday the 14th have been moved to Monday, March 13th. And then I just come in here and I rinse and repeat, as they say. So I change these to the 15th, which is a Tuesday. Hit show jobs. So here are my Tuesday lawn maintenance. Then I come back. And the 14th, and so on. So that gives you a way at the end of the year, the end of the season, to reassign jobs to next year, but maintain the day of the week they're scheduled for. So we use the reset job done count at the end of each season. Will there be a way to do it by crew number rather than job name? Not currently. Now, one thing, and this is a good question, just an FYI. In the older versions of Clip, when you made some of these global changes, you could set conditions. You could make a change based on a crew number so that only the mowing jobs for a specific crew might change and the other mowing jobs for other crews would remain unchanged, untouched. We can probably do that for you, or our development team can. So if you have kind of an unusual request to make a global change that involves setting some conditions, like for active customers only, and Bonnie, this comes back to your question. If you change all the jobs active, it'll make all the jobs active, even jobs that might belong on hold for whatever reason. So you should be able to contact us if you're not sure how to do something, and we can probably do the global change for you. Typically, it's done overnight or by the next business day, so it give us a little lead time, and we should be able to do that. If you mess something up when doing a global replacement, can you go back? Depending on what you mess up, yes. But also depending on what you mess up, no. So if you, for instance, put all your jobs on hold, then undoing that could be a problem. But if something like that happens, contact us as soon as possible, because we do make frequent backups of all of our users' data, and we could at least roll it back to the most recent backup, and that would be the day before at the latest. So we could roll it back somewhat for you. So if you do mess something up in the global replacement that you do, either end of year functions or by changing things in the pattern jobs like we've been looking at, then you can let us know. We can see if we can restore that for you to that last point. Okay, at this stage, we've kind of covered at least the most important, if not all of the end-of-year functions. Now, another end-of-year type activity you do are reports. So what I want to do is I want to cover one report in particular. That is the job costing report. So if you come under reports and job reports, job costing. The reason we're going to look at this is this was a report that you can run as you get ready to renew contracts, because this report will show you, sorry about the noise again. It will show you where you can, where you might want to raise your prices, because it'll tell you how much you're making as a dollar per hour figure for every customer and every service or select services. So in the job costing, you see you've got some options here. So back to, in part, Bruce's question. You can do this for specific crews. So if you've got, crews 1 to 3 or mowing crews, you could focus on the maintenance or mowing there. Likewise, you could do this for specific customers. So if you suspect that a particular customer you're losing money, you can focus on that specific account. Likewise, specific jobs you can look at, or job ranges, or select jobs, and then the date range. And so the date range typically would be going back to the beginning of the year. So January 1st through today. Show history will show you all of the jobs for those accounts here. And we're going to do this through customer 999. Okay, now this report can take a bit of time to run. Oh, this was faster than I thought. Okay, so here's Michael Jones. Here is the actual time spent doing this lawn maintenance service. Here's the charge. So we collected $70, spent about an hour and 20 minutes doing it. So we averaged $50 an hour for him. Then taking into account travel time, $37.63. Robert Smith, something similar. Now, again, my data is kind of bogus, so it's not always as accurate. But one thing to keep in mind that you do need to have actual times, and you need to have a charge in there. So you'll need to track how long jobs are actually taking, either through the app or through Record Work. Okay, pause for a second. Zach's saying, we used to be able to see the average historical man hours for a job inside the job details in XE. Anyway, we get that back. That's been a frequent request. I will put that down again. I believe that, let me look at something here. So let's go into a customer. So we'll go back to Bart here. Within the customer, within the job, there used to be a field. I mean, this gives you the value is $1 per man hour average. But there was an average time button or a field that would display here. If you look at job history, let's see if we've got it here. Nope. So here's the man hours, but it's not giving us an average. All right, I will bring that up to development again. This is you're not by any means the first to ask that. Okay. Question for here. Can you exclude travel time in the average dollar per hour, including travel time? Yes. So here is the average without travel time. Here's the average with. So you would compare this $50 here with this to get this is time spent on the property itself. This incorporates time spent getting to and from the property. So yeah, Megan, you can look at this value here. Brookview. Okay. Job charge and job value. Job charge is what the customer sees on the bill. Job value is how much this is worth to you. Now, this comes into play for your contract jobs. So if a job is included in a contract or part of an installment, the charge will show as 0, but the value will show as to how much that job is worth to you as a company. Because when you set up your contract, you calculated the value of each service. So for mowing, to keep it simple, you said, okay, this is going to be $50. We're doing it 32 times. That's $1,600 total divided by 8. That's $200 a month. And so the customer sees on the bill $200 per month. And if you happen to list the mowing visits, he would then see a 0 there. But internally, as a business, you need to know, well, how much is this job worth each time we do it? And that's the job value. So in pay-per-service jobs, these two will be the same like this. In a contract job, the charge will show as 0. The job value will show as what the job is worth as part of that installment. Now, in the job itself, if you have a job here that is including contract, then you still should have a value here. Now again, the customer, when you bill them, will not see this. They'll see the installment with whatever that amount is, $200. And then if you choose to show each visit on the bills, which is an option, they see a 0 next to each of those visits. But for your internal purposes, when you look, for instance, at job history, I think it's here too. Yeah, you'll see the amount and the job value. So again, in the contract, these would be zeros, but you want this to be populated for that. Okay. I notice when you go into a customer's jobs that the on-hold jobs come up. Ours always default to show the active jobs, and we have to click checkbox. Okay. Yeah, so good question. What you can do is there is a setting. So if you come to the settings gear up in the upper right, and then the company info, you scroll down here toward the bottom, these check boxes, and here's one that says show on hold jobs. So if this is checked, when you go into the customer's list of services or the customer's jobs, you'll see both the active jobs and the on hold jobs listed with the on hold jobs in red. So that's the setting, Bruce, that you need to do there. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's about it for the end of year functions. Just kind of wrapping up with the job costing report. I suggest you run the report and play with it. Just see what it looks like for you. And I'm available if you have any specific questions. So my email, billc@clip.com. So any questions from this class or about anything, let me know. By the way, we do offer in-house training, meaning I can come to your office. I'll be coming up to the States, Lord willing, in January, and we'll be spending, I hope, a few weeks. So my availability will be, I'll have more availability there, and since I'm going to be in the States anyway, and for those of you who don't know, I live in Costa Rica. So I'll be more than happy to discuss coming by your office and what the cost, etc., might be for that. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this up unless there's any other questions. So go ahead and put questions in the chat, and we'll see if we can answer it. So we'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anything comes up. And we'll open it up to whatever questions you've got, not just about end of year functions. So just like, Bruce had that question about showing the on-hold jobs. If something else comes up, let me please go ahead and raise that. We'll give it a couple more minutes. By the way, we do have a class on Friday on doing contracts. If you have not received the notification about that, please send me an email. I'll send you the link to the Zoom meeting at the same time. And that class will probably go a lot longer, till probably a full hour and a half for that one. Okay, Mr. Baxter, hold on. Okay, go ahead with your question about the posting work. I'll get to that. It's part of the program. Okay, I've noticed that when I skip a job when posting work, the new date set does not carry over to the customer's account. What am I doing wrong? One thing that happens at times with, let me get some more work in here. Oh well. Okay, let's say I wanted to skip this job. So I click on it, I go to skip job, and I move it to the suggested date. Okay, notice it says skipped. What some people don't do is they don't then, and you don't have to do this special, but when you finalize work, you need to include the skipped jobs. So let's go into this account just so we can track this through. Okay, so here is this job. The current next visit date is December 7th. So when I come back here to finalize it, so it's marked as skipped, I hit finalize selected. Now if I come back here, I mean, it still says the 7th, but if I refresh it by clicking off of the job and then back into it, see it is now changed to March 1st, 2023. What I've noticed in talking to users is they don't kind of pull this all the way through. Let me see if I can do another example here. Okay. All right, so Daffy Duck. So again, you, well, let's come down to Don Quixote. So we do Don Quixote, there he is. Scroll down, do skip. Choose the next date here. We'll just say 7 days forward, save this. So now it says S here for skipped. So as part of finalizing work, make sure you're finalizing the jobs that are skipped too. So that should take care of that. All right, well, folks, okay, here, when searching for customers, most come up last name first, then their first names, but some come up the opposite order. Okay, Grant, when searching for customers, the customer, what is displayed on that list is the display name here. So if I have Adam Bradley here, which I do, so I look at find customer, and there it is, Adam Bradley. If I wanted to come up as Bradley, comma, Adam, I just come in here then, and save. Now when I go to find customer, it is down here, Bradley, comma, Adam. Now, the thing about this version compared to our earlier versions is up here, you can search by first or last name. It doesn't matter which one. So Brad, there's Adam Bradley. If I type in Adam and search, there's Adam Bradley. So you can search by either. And I have seen Clip users, they have the list of their names here, of their customers here, and rather than search for anything, they just scroll down the list. Now that can be convenient if you know someone's at the top of the list, but otherwise, I mean, that's kind of defeating the purpose of having a search field here. Now, a couple things too. You can choose property name and property address to include in the search filter, so that can widen your search. You can sort it by account number by default. So here they are in number order here. You can choose to suppress your on hold accounts, and that way you're not having to scroll past those. So there are some ways to speed that, but if you want it to display last name first, you need to then change the display name. When doing a daily gross report, my jobs that charge material only do not show up in that report. Okay, let me make a note of that. Now, having realized that, you may then want to just do a materials report for that day for the time being. Okay. All right, I'll do that over to development for that. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up now. It's been about 45 minutes. I hope to see you all on Friday for the contract class, if that's something that you're interested in. Hope you have a great day, and you're getting ready for a good Christmas, good holidays. Thanks.